Hello engineering students, it's Mr. Jackamara with another tinkercad video. Some of you students were asking me questions about how to get a particular shape on top of another shape. We need to learn how to use the work plane. I demonstrated it in object number 1, but I will review again using page 98 object number 2. If you forget, all you have to do to go into Schoology and under the marking period 3 files, I have a copy of the page 98, all objects. There's also a copy of page 99 for your reference to get the measurements for object number 2, which I believe is 2 inches wide by 1 1/4 inches high and 1 1/4 inches deep. These side shoulders are 2.5 squares high, so it would be 5/8 of an inch, 0.625, and it looks like these shoulders are 1/2 inch in each direction here, and then you have the little space down here, which is 1/4 of an inch up and 1.5 inches wide there. So let's get started. I have tinkercad open. Please make sure that you join our classroom first so that I can see your projects. Here's object number 2 right here, so we'll get started. Create a new design. Grab my block. I know in the past I've manipulated these measurements. I'm going to just work over here. I still need to change my grid to inches. Very good. Update grid. And now it's just a lot easier. Enter my width, 2 inches over here, and 1.25 for our depth, I believe. And then our height, I'm not going to give the full height, I'm only going to give, here we go, I got to click right there to give the partial height of 5/8 of an inch, 0.625. Okay, so I have my first base. This is where students now had a little problem, was they needed to create that second block up here, which is 1 inch wide by 5/8 inch high. You cannot do it. You cannot do it on this surface here. You said you need to create a new work plane, so I select the work plane tool, and I click on that surface, and it creates a brown surface. How do I know I'm in the right spot? If I take my view cube and manipulate it, you can see now I'm working above. I'll click home again. There we go. Okay, now I could create that second box, and I need to change measurements. It's already 1 inch wide. That's good. Let me just double check my measurements. I need to change the depth to 1.25, and I need to change the height to 0.625. And now I have to position it, so I have to use the align tool. So I select both objects. That's how I'm just dragging it. Okay, I've got to be careful when I drag something around. I just messed up measurements, but I could fix that. Just simply click on the white squares, 1.25, dial in the correct depth again, and now be very careful. Frame around to select the 2 boxes that I want to align. There's the align tool right there. And if I click on the base object and select the middle button right there, it's now positioned the block in the middle, and now I have one more button to click in the depth to center it on the depth. And there we go. I think I did a pretty good job there. That block is now in position. I'm going to turn off the work plane because I still need one more thing to do. I need to put the opening down at the bottom. So to do that, I'm going to use the hollow shape, and I need to change my measurements to 1.5 inch. by depth of 1 point. Move that over so you can see it. There we go. 1.25 and a height of height of 1/4 of an inch, 1 square, 0.25. Okay, now I just need to center it. Select the two objects, the align tool, move my cursor over, and there we go. Click on the base. I'm now centered. Now click on the center of my depth. And that was pretty easy. That worked out pretty good. The only thing you'll notice, you know, there was something I wanted to do. And I forgot to do it. I should have done the cutout and join because there's something else I wanted to emphasize to you folks. Let me just save it and we'll talk a moment. Please remember, our friends at Tinkercad are pretty creative with these interesting names, but please change it to a more meaningful name to describe what you just drew. Page 98, object 2. And if we go back a moment, it's generating it. I could probably make my point with this object 2 that was already drawn, and that is, you will notice there is no separation line. This is where we have to be patient with Tinkercad. Takes a little time to generate things. While you're doing that, you can think of happy thoughts of how nice it is outside today. Let's see. Okay. I forgot to turn off my work plane, so there we go. You'll notice it's one homogeneous part, that it's all one smooth object. There is no line separating these two, top and bottom. The reason is when the drawing was finished, we used the group button. Okay? So I want you to be aware of that. Some of you folks have been drawing but not grouping at the end, and I see these lines there. And remember, I'm going to be grading your drawings, so we don't want to have those lines. So let's go back now to the drawing I just did. Okay. There it is. This is the one I just did right here. Go back to the drawing I just did. I know, it's I have the same shape. There it is. You see that line I was telling you about? To get rid of that line, the separating line, we need to group things together. So I'll now select and hit the group button. And it did two things. It removed that line because it merged the two parts together, and it also removed the hollow block. So please make sure you hit the group button after you're through after you're through drawing your object and naming it more meaningful. Thanks for watching my video. I hope this was helpful. The things that I showed you today can be helpful for drawing any of the objects. Okay, so please have fun drawing object 98 and stay safe and practice your social distancing. Take care. Mr. Jack Amara.